Good morning. I hope you are well today. I've just been trying to make sure that we've got everybody watching, so I'm not too sure whether it's worked. It took a little while, but hopefully we're on Facebook as well as YouTube. If you're watching, drop me a comment, let me know that you're well, let me know how your weekend's been and what have you been making. So today I'm going to be making some lovely bracelets with you. They're always lovely, aren't they? These are Elianora bracelets, so I'm wearing one here. Just two sizes of pearls, that's all you need. Really, really pretty. Lots of lovely colours. I've got 5 colours for you to choose from in total. They are a bargain price, and if you want to, you can change your threading material. So I'm using some nylon thread. I've got a little black board here that I'll pop down so you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But if you want to, you can use any type of stitch beading thread that you want to. And you can also use 2 needles with this if that's easier for you. I'm going to be doing it all by hand, no needles at all. I might use one at the end just to bring it back through when I've secured it. But I like using the nylon because the invisible thread has got a bit of a stretch to it. So I like to make it a little bit smaller and then it will stretch to the size that I want. And also you can't see it, so you can't see any of the thread pattern between the beads, and you can also tie a little knot, and that's quite secure as well doing it that way. My sound is muffled. Oh, okay, let me just amend that. Thank you for letting me know.
Do I sound better? Or do I sound my usual self? Please let me know if that's any better. So I'm going to say good morning to everybody. Good morning to Jan, who's in a cool and bright Sudbury. It's overcast here. It is much cooler than it has been. It's felt a bit muggy, if that's the word, when it's warm but just overcast. But managed to get out in nature at the weekend. Saturday, I had a lovely day. It was nice and warm. Got caught in a little bit of rain, but I was in a forest, so I'm quite happy. Jan says the bracelets are very pretty. Thank you very much. Alison was saying my sound's funny. Please let me know if that's improved. Good morning to Camille. She's in a wet and windy Hastings today. Good morning to Lisa. Angela's in a wet Forfar. Rachel is saying good morning from a cloudy and wet Barrow, but it's brightening up. Cloudy in Leicester, so it sounds like it's cloudy everywhere. Good morning or good evening to everybody from Australia, says Mel. It's been a much better day here, a nice day. Good morning to Elaine. Helen B says my sound's strange. Gone in and gone out, it's not improved. It's me, so is that? Yeah, okay, everyone's saying it's better now. Settings. Good morning to Jan. Good morning to Lisa. Hello to Mina. Yeah, Helen says it's better. Good. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me know as well, because I don't know. I can just hear myself as usual. So if there's ever an issue, let me know. It's usually user error, and then I can fix it. And if not, then yeah. Good morning to Tamsin, who's in a muggy Torbay, and good morning to Anne as well. Okay, I'm going to take you over to the website. I'm going to show you these lovely bracelets. As I say, they are a little bargain today, so you can choose which colour you like and you can make along with me. They have been live for a little while, so some of you may have already got them. You can, if you see any events scheduled on YouTube, there's usually a link that you can click through the YouTube. So it's like a little drop-down menu, and it'll say where you can find your kits. So sometimes if we are organised, and I've nearly planned August, you can always have a little look ahead if there's anything that you think particularly you want to make along with. Who knows, you could have it before we go live and you could make along with me in real time, if that's what I'm looking for. Good morning to Anne. Hello to Jane in Somerset. Good morning to our lovely Pauline. She says it's a brand new week. I love your positivity, Pauline. You are a little ray of sunshine. And good morning to Sue as well. Okay, so over we go to totallybeads.co.uk. There it is. So head over into our video tutorial category. You can find making jewellery and click on it here, or you can click on the main menu, and that will take you through to this page where you can see some of our lovely makes. There's loads of them, loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. You can, of course, I know I'm like a broken record, say the same thing every live, but we do ship worldwide. So if you are watching from somewhere far, far away, you can change your currency to as you need it. Today we're doing the Elianora pearl bracelets. I do this technique quite a bit in terms of, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a right angle weave. It's just bringing the thread, 2 threads through 1 bead, passing that through to create various different types of like clusters and links, and it's a really straightforward, easy make, but you can get so many different kind of effects and different looks by doing this. Then I do quite like it. So you can see we've got the forest green, we've got the fuchsia, the lemon chiffon, the mulberry, and the steel blue, which is the one on my wrist at the moment because it matches my dress perfectly. They are all £2.99, and that's going to make you up 1 bracelet today. So if you want to multi-buy, you can probably afford to do so. So I'll show you what's in the kit. So it makes 1 bracelet up. We've got the glass pearls, which are 2 sizes. We've got a 3mm and a 6mm. You're getting your nylon thread. You're getting loads of nylon thread, I think. I've said about 90 centimeters, which is kind of like a 1-arm span. You probably won't need that much, but I always want to include that little bit extra. Don't tell Simon. You've got your lobster clasp in there as well. Again, you can change that up if you prefer to have a magnetic one, or I don't know, like a the ring. All my words seem to have disappeared so late on in the term. We're nearly at breaking up time, school holidays, but I haven't really got much of a thought or any vocabulary left. But bolt ring clasp is what I think I'm trying to come up with. You can swap your clasp out if you wish, and you're also getting your jump rings. Any jump ring size will probably do. I wouldn't go any smaller than outer diameter 6mm, which is an inner diameter 4mm by 1, just because I'm using that just to attach my clasp onto it just there at the back. So if you want to put a larger one on, you can do. You could also add an extender chain to these quite easily if you like. You don't need much to make a lovely bracelet like this. This is our forest green one, and you can have a little look. The nylon thread I'm using is a 0.25mm, and again I've got the 6 and the 3mm pearls there. So all your pearls will be in the same colour, they're just 2 different sizes. We've got the fuchsia one for you as well, pretty in pink. I've put the forest green with champagne findings. The pink, this fuchsia, is with a rose gold coloured finding. All our findings, I'm pretty sure, are nickel free. I think everything's nickel free. The findings are chain, the wire, which is, or if you always need to triple double check, you can do on the individual product description. We've not popped those findings in at the bottom, but you can see here, if you have a little look, I'm sure you'll be able to just find what you need. These are the lemon chiffon ones. These are really, really pretty. It's like it is lemon, but it's kind of like a very creamy colour. You've got that beautiful luster on those glass pearls. Very gorgeous colour. I'm gonna say it, dare I say it, a little bit wedding jewellery, perhaps. These are good all seasons. To me, they are looking quite summery because of the colours I've put together. But you know, you could choose that beautiful mulberry, and you could maybe mix them. You could put the mulberry with the forest green. You could have a lovely autumnal one. This one's the mulberry here. So it's exactly the same. That's a little bit out of focus. I could have took a better photograph of that, couldn't I? Is that the same? Yeah. But you get what it is. You get to see the colour on that one. And then this one, which is the one I'm wearing on my wrist. is the beautiful, lovely coloured steel blue. So they're all £2.99, makes up one bracelet. We're using 2 sizes of pearls, your 3s and your 6, your nylon thread, but you can change it if you want to, and you've got your little lobster clasp in that. The mulberry is also with the rose gold findings, and the lemon chiffon is with the gold coloured clasp and jump rings. So a nice straightforward make for you today. Let me know in the comments which one do you like the most. I think I'm going to demo with the forest green just because it's out in front of me. But if anyone's desperately wanting me to do another one, then speak now. I'm going to go back into the comments and see if I've missed anything. If you've got any questions, then do drop me a little message now, or if you're watching back later. I'll always do my best to answer. Good morning to Anne. Hello to Jane. Good morning to Sue. And Sharon said, good morning, creative beadeniers. Mel saying they look lovely. Thank you very much. Carol's in as well. So is my mum. Hi, Kath. How you doing? Anastasia's in as well. She says, peace and love, Natalie. For USA Atlanta, it's cool this morning because we're having thunderstorms. It's 71 right now and it is 8 minutes past 5. So I think that's the morning, not the evening, isn't it? You say it's cool this morning. So I'll speak a little softer because no one wants to hear my foghorn leghorn at that time of the morning. She's also saying peace and love to everyone in the chat and hopes everyone's having a wonderful morning. You're all so sweet. Mina saying there's some great lives coming up this week. We are trying to be organised. I'm trying to be organised. I feel like I've had to plan the whole of August before, as Mina says, where's our little man with the dinosaur today? He's still in school. He doesn't break up till tomorrow. He's got his school disco tonight. So as I say, I'm trying to get everything I can possibly do done beforehand. Really needed to sort out clothes and toys because I think he's just going to get to the point where he's going to play with the same things over and over again, and we've got so much. So I do need to have a big sort out, but housework has been put on hold. Did a bit of gardening, but so much to do. Good morning to Jackie. Right, all I'm doing here is I'm just straightening out my nylon. If I put a little bit of pressure on it, it does stretch it out, but also gets rid of any kinks. When it first comes off the spool, because of the nature of it, it will be very, very curly. Sometimes you can pop it in a little bit of warm water, not too hot, just warm. And after a little while, that will kind of loosen any kinks out of it. But I tend to find just a little bit of a pull and a stretch will get those curls out, and that will make your bracelet sit nice and flat. Mina saying, thought all schools closed last Friday. Nope, got another 2 days and making the most of it. Oh, thanks, Anastasia. Right, I will take you down on the mat. Camille saying, housework, what's that? I like making a mess. I'm organised though. It's everywhere, but I know where it is. That's what I tell myself and my husband anyway. Right, if I can bring the screen up, you can see we have this lovely forest green one. I'll move that, get a bit of focus. So that's the forest green, just going with the smaller pearls, the 3mm, and then back through the 6 to make a really comfortable, lovely fitting bracelet. Really easy to change up the size. You just use less or more of those little repetitions, or you can add the extender chain by just attaching it here, and then you're making it a little bit more adjustable as well if you want to. In terms of extender chains, you can buy them ready-made. You can make them with jump rings. You could do whatever you like, but that one is the gorgeous forest green. We've got this lovely lemon chiffon, which is just a really lovely kind of buttery looking colour. Mina says it's too hot to do any ironing. I don't iron anything. I'll iron his stuff occasionally, his being my son. I will, if he's got a shirt or something, then, but I'm lucky because his uniform is like a polo top and a jumper. So when they've been on the line or the dryer, I often tend to get away with it. I will make more of an effort with him. So that one's your lemon chiffon. You can see I've made this quite long. So this one with your clasp is coming up to 8.5 inches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the longer clusters. So you can see if you want to make it shorter, you just take out some of those clusters. This one is the mulberry. I love this colour, really love this colour. It's such a gorgeous purple. And again, I think, you know, if you wanted to mix them, if you wanted to buy 2 kits, you could use the smaller pearl in one and the larger in the other, or you could maybe layer them up if you wanted to do them separate. They probably would make a nice design for a necklace as well. So if you wanted to just make your bracelet and then add a chain onto each side, they would sit quite nice. It's got a nice curve to it, which fits whichever way you position it. This one is your fuchsia pink, and they're all £2.99 today, which I think is a good price for a lovely bracelet, which is quite quick make. And then this one is the one that I'm wearing. I just wanted you to see how it looks like when it's on. So this is the lovely blue colourway, really comfortable, sits nicely around the wrist, and you've seen me just opening them up with ease just on that jump ring. So let's get started. I think what I'm going to do is I might put my other board. I'm missing my lint roller, so I have got bits all over my desk. You can't really see the nylon too well on here, so I'm going to pop this down and hopefully that's a little bit better. Yeah, okay. So I'm taking, I've took about 90 centimetres of the thread. I've basically just done that. So it's like from my fingertip to my shoulder, like an arm stretch. And I've stretched that out just to get rid of those little kinks. They don't always have it, but sometimes it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both ends of my thread up together like this. And you can use, as I've said, a different thread if you think I don't want to use nylon, just want to use a beading thread like an S-lon or whatever. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to start by taking 4 of the smaller pearls, which are 3mm in size, and I'm just threading them on. Again, you can use a needle if you want to. I tend not to use a needle with the nylon thread because it's got that kind of stiffness to it, so it's already kind of easy enough for me to just thread directly onto the bead. But you can do this with 2 needles if you want. So I'm just sliding them into the centre. So I've got my cord, that's why I've brought the 2 ends up together, so I've got roughly in the middle. And I'm just going to take one end and I'm just going to pass it back through one of the beads. So I'm going to separate the bead out, so I've just got that one. And I'm going to bring it back through the other direction. And then as I pull it together, I've created a little loop. Now again, if you want to, if you've got like a macrame board, you can pin that to your board if it's easier for you to work that way. I did a bracelet last week and I did that just because I found it was easier to show you. But you do tend to find that it will sit where you need it to. Camille's saying about what she's been up to. Oh, she went to where the Battle of Hastings was fought in 1066. She says her knees are shattered now. Yeah, we had all great plans to go out again on Sunday, and we realised just how tired we were after the walk, and we did on Saturday. Anastasia, oh, thank you. She says, hit the like button, everyone. Natalie's teacher. Awesome class with the dinosaur. Yeah, well, in September when he's still off, he might be on the live with me again. Good morning to Sally. She says, good morning, everybody. Sorry about the random message Friday. What I was trying to say is Facebook was working really well, and I went to the next town on the bus and watched you all the way. Oh, well, that's good. It's nice to know it's actually playing ball at times. Okay, so I've just made that little loop. Move that ruler out the way. Just made that little loop with those 4 smaller beads, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 4 of the smaller onto each side again. So I'm just kind of lie them up on my string really when I'm threading them off. And I pinch them together between my finger, because sometimes rather than stringing them on one at a time, you can line it up and pass it through all 4 at once. And that, I think, just speeds up. It's a quick make anyway. So I'm just adding 4 small pearls onto each end of my thread. So I'm just taking my next tail, just move that bead so it won't line up now, and I'm going to pop 4 onto that one. And they will go up there like so. And now I'm going to bring them back through the centre of one of the larger 6mm beads. So to do that, I'm going to take one side. So in this case, I'm taking the left, and I'm threading the left hand side of my thread through the bead. And then I'm going to pick up the other side of the thread, which is the right hand side, and I'm going to pass it back through in the opposite direction. And then as I pull them together, I've got that little loop. I'm going to take another large 6mm. They're not large at all. You can see it on my wrist. It's a really nice size, but they are bigger than the others. So I'm going to refer to this as the larger pearl, and then the small pearls, which will be your 3. So I'm going to put one on each side, and then I'm going to take another 6mm pearl, and I'm going to go through one side and back through the other. So this time I've just picked it up on the right side. It doesn't matter which way you do first. And then I'm bringing it back through in the opposite direction. All I'm going to do is just trim a tiny bit of that off, and then it should easily go back through the pearl. I was just about to say, you've got a nice size hole in the pearls, so they will go through really easy, and it will. Sometimes you might get a little bit of the paint covering of the colour over it. Got myself in a bit of a tangle. I don't know how I've done it. Okay, let's do that again. So I've got one on one side, and then I'm just taking that back through. So as long as both threads go back through in the opposite direction, we'll slide about a little bit. That's going to give me that little loop. Good morning, Elianora. I hope you're well. So that is my first cluster, and then I'm just repeating that. So back to my 3mm beads, and I'm going to put 4 of them on. So I'm kind of working in 4s at all times. 4 to start off, going back through 1 to make the loop. 4 small, and then 4 of the 6mm in the cluster. So threading back on 4 onto one side. And 4 onto the other. As I tend to pinch my pearls in between my fingers, and sometimes I can just line it up, not always, so I can get them on in one go. If you've got your needle, you can just pick them up on the mat as normal, or pick them up one by one, whichever works best for you. Just gonna blow some of those little bits away. Okay, so it's like this. It will tighten up as I bring that through. So again, I'm going to go for my 6mm pearl. I'm demoing with the beautiful forest green colour today. It's going to go through one way, and then taking the other end of my thread, going back through the hole in the opposite direction, like so, and then that's created that next little loop. So there's lots of different things you can do with this design in terms of, you know, where you're bringing that back through. But bringing it back through that one pearl will create those kind of little loops. And again, it's, you know, we spoke, didn't we, last live about, you know, that kind of hugs and kisses kind of pattern. It's a bit similar to that, really. And as you can pull that tauter as well, depending on the thread that you're using, and they can sit flat. So it's kind of giving, rather than circle effect, it can give kind of like a square or rectangular effect. Honestly, I don't know where my words are going. So a larger one onto each side, and then back through the 6 to make my second little cluster. Just slide that up a little bit, and then back with the 4 of the smaller. So I tend to lay it out flat in front of me. I don't know, I think visually it's clearer to look at it this way rather than to look at it from the side. But it's a nice one to do, you know, on a beading mat. And as you don't need, you know, much components or tools, you could make them on the go as well. So if you're going on holiday, you're looking for a little project to take with you, whether you're, I don't know, in a caravan or sitting around the pool on a beach or something, you could do a bit of beading. Does anybody take stuff away with them when they go? Yeah, Anastasia, you can definitely use a needle with this project. You can use 2 needles with this project if you want. So pop a needle onto this end and pop a needle onto that end, and then you're just threading the beads through and bringing the needles back. That's absolutely fine. As people who have watched me for a little while know, this is a stitch beading project, but I tell myself I'm not good at stitch beading projects. And I don't like using needle because I just tend to find I'll get myself tangled up more. So if I don't use a needle, then my mind doesn't think it's a stitch beading project, and it's just super easy. I'll probably put a needle on at the end, as I say, when I'm bringing the, once I've tied a knot, I tend to travel the thread a little bit away. Oh, I've put the wrong ones on. I do tend to travel the thread away from the knot, and that's easier sometimes to do with a needle. Don't have to, but it does speed you up. So once you've put the 4 on and you've brought it back through the 6, you need to make that little cluster. You don't have to, you could do a couple of different types of loops if you want. But you need to do, in this design, the little cluster with the 6mm. So 1 on each end. Just got my thread caught there. And then bringing it back through 1. Pauline says, looks like a gorgeous pattern. Thank you very much. Yolanda says, good morning. Hope everyone's had a lovely weekend. Pauline says it's a great pattern. Mina says, I've been making peyote bracelets and now got a sore wrist. Yesterday I made 6 pairs of earrings, 6 pendants, 4 of one type of necklace, and 4 of another type of necklace, and one of the designs has got 9 different colorways, so I've still got a lot to do. And sometimes I go to bed and my hands are like, can we just rest for a minute? Yeah, I've been busy. I've still got more to do. But you know, when you enjoy something, it doesn't feel like work, does it? Very, 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 very lucky that I get to do this and be with you. I've got the best job in the world. Ooh. And I'm not, I'm not smug. I'm a little bit smug. And I'm a little bit bragging as well. I think you've got to be appreciative of the good things in life, and getting to make lovely jewellery with you lovely lot is just, I'm very, very fortunate, and I'm acknowledging that. So 4 onto each. So again, you can make this as long or as small as you want, and you can, say you could make it into a necklace as well if you wanted to. So how's your peyote going, Mina? Have you finished? How many colours have you done? And Mina, do you ever wear any of the jewellery that you make, or do you just sell it all? Do you ever make something for you, or do you do what I do and you make it for someone and go, oh, I want that myself, and end up keeping it? Like this now is very comfortable on my wrist, and that might just stay on my wrist for the rest of the day. She says she's made about 4 bracelets. And how long does each one take you to do? Because something like this, these are quick makes. So, you could probably make this in 15 minutes, 10 minutes. I am chit-chatting away. I'd imagine the peyote takes quite a lot of time. So I do make some and I keep them for myself too. You've got to, haven't you? What's the joy in making? The thing is, though, you only have so many wrists, don't you? So many fingers and so many earlobes. But it's nice to be able to have a big collection and change it up. You could buy these kits, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4. Is that less than, if they're £2.99 each, that would be less than £15, and you could have them all made in, an hour or so, and then you can change them up depending on what you're wearing that day. I only need 4. I've picked up 5 there. So I am just repeating this pattern over and over and over again. Because I've got this board, it's easier for you to see, but it does mean that if I do drop a bead, it tends to roll away. If I'm working on a beading mat, when it lands, it stays put usually. Oh my goodness. Mina says 1 peyote took me about 2 hours, but got longer with a glass or 2 of sangria. You have to stay hydrated, Mina. You have to, especially when the sun is shining. Diane said, could you put maybe a micro crystal or a small crystal bead in the corners of the 4 larger beads just to hide that little bit of thread? Yeah, that would absolutely work. I'm using the invisible thread, so you can't really see it. Obviously, there's a dark background here, so it is showing up a tiny little bit. But when that's pulled together, if I show you when I'm wearing it on my wrist, you can't really see it. But if you wanted to add a tiny little seed bead, I'd use a size 11 seed bead, something small. Then yeah, you could absolutely do that, Diane. And that, I love us chatting like this and making something together, because you can see how you would like to improve it and how you would like to change it. And you could definitely do that. And if you're wondering, Totally Beads have got a huge selection of seed beads in loads and loads of colours. So you'll definitely be able to find one that matches perfectly or contrasts nicely, whatever you want to do. Yolanda's asking, how do I find the group on Facebook? So we're totallybeads.co.uk. You can find our Facebook page on there, but we also have a community group called Totally Beads Handmade, and it's a private group. You just join, and you get to see. I'll share any of the tutorials we've done here later once we've finished, but we also have a chit chat about various different things that we've been making, and it's a really lovely group. There's a lot of obviously there's a lot of Facebook groups, and there's a lot of making groups, and there's lots of very supportive and encouraging people, but there's also some people on the internet forget they're talking to a human, don't they? I think it's the same as, you're watching me maybe now on YouTube, and because you've got the safety of the keyboard, you can say things that maybe you might not say to somebody's face, and that's something that I've learned about. But also on this handmade group, I'm not just saying it, it is the nicest community of people. I've never seen anyone have a crossword or be negative to each other. It's always really, really supportive. They're just a little community of beaders and makers. I think most of us found each other during lockdown, and we've become good mates, haven't we? I mean, I know a lot of you speak to each other, privately, and especially during lockdown, I would speak to these lovely people in the group often more than I would my family, and we become a little family. And I know it's soppy and it's really corny, but it's just a really nice group. So if you're ever struggling with anything, or you need advice on anything, or you just want to show off what you've done, then it's the place to be. Mina says, well, I opened the box of sangria on Friday and I need to finish it Sunday, as I don't drink during the weekday. That sounds very sensible. I made a Sunday dinner yesterday, and we opened a bottle of wine with it. We opened it a little bit early, to be honest. I think we were ready for bed by early evening. But, it's the weekend. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make the bracelet for as long as I would like it to be. Let me count how many clusters I've got here. And I'm referring to the clusters as like the larger bead section. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is enough for my wrist. You might want to do 7. Yeah, we'll add one more in. So, just to recap, because I got very distracted having a chit chat with you, 4 of the 3mm pearls are going onto one side of the thread. 4 will go on to the other. I think I'm going to have to get my other strand out. And then I'm bringing it back through a 6mm pearl just to join it together. So on one side and back through the other. And then I'm going to add on one of the larger pearls onto each side. And then close that loop by going back through the centre of one larger pearl. Give that a little pull, and you'll see that just pulls all of the bracelet tight and nice. Good morning, Jo. She says, long time no see. This looks pretty. And Esther's popped in as well. She says, sorry I'm so late. She's been on grandma duties having a ball. Hi Esther, my love. How are you doing? How's the little one? You sound like you're having loads of fun. Make the most of it. If you are just joining us, we are doing the Elianora pearl bracelet. I'm just using two sizes of pearl, 3mm and 6mm. So once I have got to my last large cluster, I'm going to finish it as I started it. So I'm going to put 4 pearls onto one side. And I'm going to put 4 pearls onto the other side. I'm going to have to buy myself a new lint roller. I've got bits all over the desk. And then once I've got 4 on both, I'm going to bring it through, but this time I'm going to bring it through the smaller pearl. So I'm going to pop the 3mm onto one, and I'm going to take that thread on the other side back through. And I'm going to give that a little pull. And now I'm going to make that little loop like I started with before. So when I first started, we used 4 small pearls and I brought it back through. But we've already got that 1 pearl already on, starting that off. Let me just, don't want to cut that thread. There you go. So I've got 1 already. I'm going to put 2 pearls onto one side. Again, using the small one. And I'm just going to put 1 pearl onto the other side. And the side that's got the 1 pearl on, let's move this up so you can see. I'm going to bring this side, which has got the 1 pearl on, just through that 1 bead that's got on this side, which has the 2. And then as I bring that through and tight, that's creating that little starting 4 for us. So what I can do now is I can just tie an overhand knot. And you can do the tying of the knot if you're using a thread as well. You won't see it. I'm just doing a little double knot, and that's going to end up sitting at the back of the pearl. Now, because I'm using a knot here, I don't necessarily want to cut off too close to my knot. You could put a dab of glue on if you wanted to, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to bring the thread away from the knot. So again, you can see I don't need to use a needle. I can just bring that through again with my fingers. But if you want to pop a needle onto it to speed you up, you absolutely can. I also don't need to bring it all the way through too many, just enough to move it away. So what I am going to do is I'm going to just bring that one through there. Oh, I don't want it through both. I just want it through that one. So I've brought that one thread, I've gone back the knot on that side's gone back through there and out through this one. Through there and out through this one. So that knot will now kind of fall and you won't be able to see it. I will put my large eye needle on just to show you how easy it is to bring that through. So I'm going to take it away from the knot. And again, you could tie another knot if you wanted when those threads meet, if you just want that extra security. Again, I don't think it's needed, but if you do want to, just a little overhand knot. I'm not doing a surgeon's knot with it, I'm just doing a little double knot. And then again, I want to make sure that I'm moving that thread away from the knot before I cut off. So I'm going to take it back through the pearl. You can see using this thread, I've got plenty of availability to go back and through the pearl numerous times. Just going to go down through those first little 4. And then the same on the other side. So I will put my needle on that side too. So if you want to use a needle, you'll see, you know, it is much quicker. You can use 2 needles on this project, but if you don't want to, you haven't got any to hand or whatever, you can just do as I've done and make it without. So I'm running back through those pearls. Just caught on that one there. I'll take it through that one too. Don't have to, just want to. You can see I've got loads and loads and loads and loads of thread left over. You don't need to use it all. I just always like to have more than less. I'm going to come in nice and close and I'm going to just cut those threads off, making sure I'm just cutting the excess thread, not the one that's in my bracelet. And you can see it's got a little bit of stretch and give to it as well. So at the moment, without the clasp on, it sits at about 6, but it does comfortably stretch to 7. And the more of a kind of stretch you put on it, you'll see that this goes from being like little circles. So it depends, you know, in terms of what look you prefer. You could have kind of little circles, or you could kind of have it more elongated. So you can see that those kind of circles sit more elongated. Jo says she's actually made 3 bracelets. Where's your comment gone? Oh, Jo's on holiday, so she had time to check in, but she missed the start. We were talking before, do you make jewellery on holiday? She says, I've actually made 3 bracelets in the last couple of days. Get me. Well done, Jo. Nice to see you making. I know you're very busy working. Jan says, thank you for another inspirational make. Thank you very much. Diane says, my lovely husband has just treated me to all 5 colours. I love these bracelets. Oh, Diane, that's lovely. And well done, hubby. Isn't it nice to have? Isn't it nice to be treated? Sue says, this looks lovely. Watch the start while waiting outside the eye hospital for my partner. He came out quicker than expected, so drove home. Now able to catch the end. Well, if you've seen the beginning and the end, you've seen it all. So because it is literally just repeating that over and over. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my clasp on. So I'm going to get my jump rings out of my kit. Of course, they are included for you. If you do want to, you know, add on an extender chain, a larger or different clasp, you can do whatever you want. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the jump ring, give it a little open up, turning it towards me, and I'm just going to slide it on through, and it's going to sit just where that kind of top pearl is. And then I'm going to close the jump ring over, make sure it's fully closed so it doesn't, you know, you have got a very thin thread there, so if that jump ring's not fully closed, it could slip out. And I'm just going to pop that on there. And then on the other end, I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to add my lobster clasp. So I'm going to take my pliers, open up that jump ring. Don't have to open it up too much, just enough that I can slide it on through where the pearl is and attach my lobster clasp, which is also in your kit, and then close it over. So with the forest green, you've got a lovely champagne, and that is your bracelet done, dusted, and ready to go. So you will just hook that on through that little jump ring there, and it will sit like this, like I have got mine on. Mel says, it's beautiful. Thank you. You are very, very welcome. If you would like to get your kits, they are the Elianora Pearl Bracelet over on our website, which is totallybeads.co.uk. There are 5 lovely colours to choose from forest green, fuchsia, lemon chiffon, mulberry, which is the purpley one, and steel blue. And they're all £2.99, which makes 1 bracelet in your kit. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really hope you enjoyed making along with me. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, sorry. Camille says, tip, a little dab of nail polish on the opening of the jump ring to seal it, and then it won't slip out. Ooh, I like that, Camille. That's a good idea. So what Camille's saying there is where I'm saying make sure you close your jump ring. When it's closed, if you pop a little bit clear nail varnish on it, I suppose you could do glue as well, couldn't you? You just have to make sure it doesn't stick to your bracelet. When it dries, that will seal any teeny tiny little hole. Love that. Thank you. She even used the tip for tip, so I knew it was a tip. Mina says, love the blue one you're wearing, Natalie. It's lovely, isn't it? Matches my dress really nice. Joe says, very nice. This pattern would work well for a stretch bracelet too. It would. And we were saying, Joe, when you were in here, that you could technically use it. Let me go down dead quick back on the mat. You could as well, if you wanted to, kind of use it as a necklace. So you could pop a chain on, or even, you know, do more beading around, and you could have that as like a focal point to a necklace as well, if you wanted to. The opportunities are endless. Rachel says, lovely make, thank you. And Camille says, thread. Why, what did I say? Because I was saying on the jump ring. Did we mean the same thing? Well, either way, they both work. Thank you so much, Jan. I hope you all have a really lovely week. I'm going to be back with you on Friday. What am I making on Friday? Could be a ring, could be a bracelet, could be a necklace, could be earrings. I don't know. I can't remember. So I'm working a month ahead. Whatever I'm making, please come and join me if you can, and I will see you all